is the place. The border of Fredonia.
Colonel Custer, I was assured by the Secretary of War that we would have full protection of the military for the railroad survey crews. Now, I assumed that to mean that we'd have at least a full company of men, not just two.
My orders were to negotiate, not to fight, Mr. Glixton. Your survey crew was ordered to stay out of Fredonia until we got here. Where are they?
I've got a schedule to keep, Colonel.
You sent them into Fredonia?
That's right. They're just a bunch of ex-rebels setting themselves up in what they call a new country. I've got every legal right to be in there, Colonel. They're blocking progress.
They have rights too, Mr. Glixton. And I intend to protect theirs just as well as yours.
Well, there's a survey crew.
Why, bring it up a little.
Try it, Colonel. Get their guns.
Well, it's quite a ways back to the fort, but if they keep moving, they'll make it. Turn them loose!
All right, take off. The fort is to the south.
Well, I heard you were around here, but I never expected to run into you. General George Armstrong Custer, the scourge of Gettysburg.
You have the advantage, sir.
Indeed I do, and I intend to keep it. My name is Zebediah Jackson, former captain of the Virginia Regulars, elected leader of the settlement Fredonia.
Just what are you going to do with us?
Who are you?
My name is Glixton. I represent the railroad. We have legal right-of-way through this area, and we're protected by a special act of the United States Congress. I suggest you keep that in mind.
Well, I'm afraid the special act of the United States Congress won't do you any good out here. You see, you're no longer in the United States. So consider yourself my prisoner. And we have a little riding to do, and I won't warn you again. You'll only stay alive as long as I allow you to. Now mount up.
At 24, he had been the youngest general in the Civil War. Within 5 years, he had been reduced in rank and sent west to be forgotten. But he was not the kind of man to let the world forget. His name, George Armstrong Custer.
Valley drills a part of each day, while the others work in the field or help build a town.
It'll take more than a homegrown militia to stand up against the government, Jackson.
We've got enough. Take the sergeant and the civilian and lock them up in the granary.
Hey, now, wait a minute. You can't do that.
Afraid they can, Mr. Glixton. Come on.
Do you remember me, Colonel?
No.
Ain't likely you would. All that smoke and dirt, cannons firing, you riding down us with your cavalry. You cut my boys to pieces. You ground them in the dirt.
Where was that?
Appomattox.
There were losses on both sides, mister. That war's all over now.
No, sir, Colonel. It ain't over yet. You're still living and breathing. but not for long.
Carhew! There's no room for private vengeance in this valley, and that goes for all of us. If they want to fight, they'll have to bring it to us. Now dismiss your men.
Yes, sir. Company, attention! Dismissed.
A settlement of ex-Confederates trying to secede from the Union again. You're deceiving yourself if you think you can fight the Army, Mr. Jackson.
That's our armory. We drug cannon all the way out here. And we got plenty of rifles and ammunition. Maybe we can't win, but we can fight. We lost everything back home, but we're not going to give up out here. Come with me. I'd like you to meet Colonel George Armstrong Custer. Colonel, my wife.
I'll be at Mrs. Miller's house.
Well, you can't very well blame her, Colonel. See, your federal troops burned down her house and killed her father. So blue isn't one of her favorite colors.
The war was over a long time ago.
No, Colonel. The shooting stopped. But it didn't change the things we believed in.
Only a fool lives in the past.
To the victor belongs the spoils. Well, it makes it easier if you're on a winning side. The future's bright. Your future, not mine.
You're wrong, Mr. Jackson. This country belongs to all of us, Northerner and Southerner.
You know, there was a time when I could have agreed with you on that, Colonel. I was in a Yankee prison camp when the war ended. It was almost a year later before they turned me loose. And then they let me make my way back home the best way I could. There's a word for you. Home. You know what I had left? Nothing. Sit down, Colonel. I had a plantation that had been in my family for 5 generations. And when I finally got back home, I found that a Yankee carpetbagger owned it.
There are always men who fatten themselves on the miseries of others.
Colonel, my family were church people. And all the time we owned that land, we never once had a slave. But we made a mistake. We're on the losing side. So we lost everything. But we're going to start all over again out here, where a man can teach his sons to believe in the things he believes in.
Tell me something, Mr. Jackson. What makes you think the Crow are going to let you stay here?
We get along with them. Better than your blue boys do. They like us here. We trade them hard goods in exchange for meat. So if you're going to use that as an excuse to protect us, forget it.
You're not being offered a choice. The railroad has the government's permission to build through here, and the Army backs up the government's decisions. You, of all people, should know that by now.
Custer, you take a good, hard look at that map. Because your life may depend on it. Come on. Our boundaries are clearly marked. If you or your men or the railroad step across that line, I'll have you shot.
Then you better muster your men, Mr. Jackson. But you make it clear to them what they're fighting for. Stubbornness, pure and simple.
Stubbornness?
When the railroad comes through here, they'll take part of your land, sure. But 10 years from now, the land you have left will be worth 100 times as much.
I'll show you and your sergeant, Mr. Glixton, to the boundary. If you come back again, be ready to fight, Custer.
That's your choice, Mr. Jackson. Prepared for trouble, Mr. Jackson.
Indians? I don't think it's very likely they'll attack. We'll take no chances. All right, dismount and take cover over here.
no attack?
No, they're just boys. They're testing their courage. They'll charge one at a time. The boy who places his lance closest to the enemy has the most courage. You won't need that.
Hold your fire, boys.
You've done enough killing for one day, Carr. You put that knife away. Put it away.
Colonel! He's dead.
What happens to your treaty with the Crow now?
I'll talk to him. Explain what happened.
You think they'll listen to you after this? You're gonna need some help, Mr. Jackson.
You'd take any excuse to bring your troopers in here, wouldn't you? You can't bluff me, Custer.
You may find yourself in one of the bloodiest Indian wars this country's ever seen.
Mount up!
Mount up, boys.
Thank you.
So that's the way you're gonna play it, Mr. Jackson.
The devil himself couldn't drive us out of here. All right, you're free to go. But don't come back again, because if you do, you won't ride out. And that's a promise, Colonel.
Let's go.
See me, sir? Glixton's entering an official complaint against me. For what?
Well, he's drawing up a bill of particulars now. He claims that you didn't protect him. That you allowed yourself to be disarmed and captured without having fought.
I see. Are you going to endorse his complaint?
No. But he'll send it anyway. He does have a friend in Washington. I know he galls you, Custer, but why can't you work with him?
He's a pompous, arrogant complainer.
Who happens to have the law on his side. It may seem like an injustice to you that the railroad has a right-of-way through an improved valley, but officially that's none of our business. Do I make myself clear?
Perfectly.
Fine. I don't want any chance of a misunderstanding. As of sunrise tomorrow, Glixton's taking that survey party back up to the settlement of Fredonia. You're to select a patrol of 10 men from the 7th and accompany him.
What's this patrol supposed to do, sir? Fight the whole settlement? Because they're not going to let us set one foot in their valley without a battle.
No, there'll be no fighting. We're faced with a touchy political situation here. I don't want it to appear as if my men are being used to start the Civil War all over again.
I see. I'm to protect Glixton and his men, but I'm not allowed to fight to do it. That's about like sending me out unarmed to make a treaty with a grizzly bear.
That's about it. You're to cooperate with Glixton all the way.
That's why you're sending me, so Glixton will drop his complaint?
No. I'm sending you because I happen to think that you're the only man in this command who can bring it off. Good luck, Colonel.
Sergeant Bustard. Yes, sir. You call for 10 volunteers to ride escort for that survey crew tomorrow.
We're going back to Fredonia, sir?
The issue will be rations for 6 days, field gear, and 100 rounds per man. What's the matter? Did you see anyone out there you knew back in the old days?
No, sir. But some of the men came from the county next to my home. Just doesn't seem right somehow. After all the work they put into that land.
I can always leave you behind if that's what you're asking.
No, sir. I'm not asking that. I just think there must be a better way to work things out.
If there is, we'll find it. You have your orders, Sergeant.
Where are you? We'll take you as far as the railhead in the morning. Then you can go back to Virginia.
I'll think about that.
You'll think about it. I'm not giving you a choice. You think I'm going to have this settlement burned down because some hothead couldn't follow orders?
Maybe we need a leader who knows what side he's on.
Are you questioning my loyalty?
You had Custer here and you turned him loose. We should have killed him. Showed him we mean business. That's the only way we're going to keep them bluebellies out of here.
If there's any killing to be done, they'll have to push it. The blood will be on their hands and not mine.
Sam,
Yes.
there are Indians out there.
How many?
3 in the front, 2 in the back. I don't know.
Go back inside. There's no war paint. They came here to talk. It's Brave Dog. It was his son you killed this afternoon. Put that thing away. If they came here to fight, they never would have let Annie see them. Hello, Brave Dog. Come on in. We'll talk inside. Sit down, Chief. If you're hungry, my wife will fix you something.
Is this the man who shot my son?
He came charging down the hill, yelling and screaming.
We're not familiar with all of your customs, Chief. This man thought your son was attacking us, so he shot him. Now, we've been at peace for a long time, and we wouldn't do anything to break that peace on purpose.
I had but one son.
Well, we're willing to make reparations. You tell us what to do. We'll do it.
How many beads was my son worth? How many blankets? No. A man for a man. He killed my son. You give him to us.
Oh, no. I'm not going to be turned over to any...
Shut up! You've asked for the one thing we can't give you. You've seen enough of us to know our customs.
You have one day to think about it. With the next son, we will come for him. If he is given to us, we will go in peace. If he is not, then we will take him. And that is the word of the chief of the Crow Nation.
Push no higher! Capt, maybe you're right. I'll hightail it out of here first thing in the morning.
You wouldn't have a chance. They have you hanging by your heels before noon. They're waiting out there.
You can't hand me over to him.
I won't. Now, you go home. We'll talk tomorrow.
You're, you want to have a drink, General?
Oh, quite sure. You got everything you want here, huh?
Yes, thank you. I want you to know that I'm going to put in a good word for you when I write my next report to Washington.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, General. You men better get some sleep. You're going to need it. We'll be leaving at dawn.
Mr. Glixton. May I talk to you?
Certainly, go right ahead.
It's about those people in Fredonia.
Oh, what about them?
Well, I know this country like the back of my hand. And you don't have to carry that railroad through Fredonia. There's a pass just 30 miles south, flat as a tabletop. Good water,
Sergeant
too.
Sanders, listen to me, will you? I take my pay in land. Now, let's just say I was to route the railroad to the south. What do you think I'd get for my trouble? Oh, a handful of dust, maybe. But now, if I go through...
Well, you don't know those people like I do. They lost everything in the war. Not just their crops or their homes, but everything.
Well, that's their tough luck, Sergeant. I do everything nice and legal. All according to the law, Sergeant.
Then you don't care what happens to those people.
Ah, man, come on. Why concern yourself with them? Now, you saw the light. You turned in your gray coat for a blue one. Now, why go on feeling sorry for a bunch of redneck crackers who are sitting on land that doesn't belong to them?
All right, will you listen to me, carpetbagger? Those are human beings out there. And they hurt just like anybody else. And if you push them too far, they're going to fight. And I'm telling you now, and no matter what happens, you ain't going to win. I wouldn't dirty my hands on you.
Turncoat's gonna push me around.
That's enough, Sergeant. Now, you come to attention. Now, would anyone mind telling me what's going on here?
That man attacked me without provocation. I want him locked up, and I want to see him punished.
What do you got to say for yourself, Sergeant?
Nothing. Nothing that'd make any difference.
Take him to the guardhouse.
Colonel Custer! I'm going to hold you responsible for that man's punishment.
How many does that make?
9, sir.
Add one more.
Only one, sir? Sergeant, ex-Sergeant Bustard's a big man, sir.
He's still not a horse, Mr. Hagan.
Fool me.
You will save your comments, Mr. Hagan.
Yes, sir.
Colonel! I'd like to ask you a question. You've got to let me go on that detail in the morning, sir.
I don't think you'd be too anxious to climb in the saddle after marching with this load.
Don't worry, sir. I'll be ready.
Tell me something, Sergeant. Did Glixton provoke that fight?
Well, sir, that carpetbagger got to crowing about how he was going to take that land from the settlers, and, well, things just got out of hand.
All right, you can come along. But you stay away from Glixton. Because if things get out of hand again, you'll be taking your mail and your meals in the guardhouse.
Yes, sir.
Your punishment will be 6 hours marching with that load. Keep him moving.
All right, Hagen. Let's go.
Mr. Hagen.
Sir.
You'll be acting sergeant of this column.
Me, sir? Yes, sir.
We'll keep the men in a tight, close formation. Prepare to move out.
Yes, sir.
Don't look so stupid, Hagen. The command is column by twos, forward ho.
I know the proper command. I've worn 3 stripes before.
And lost them just as quick.
Column by twos, forward ho!
Oh, Colonel. I want to camp here at Iron Springs tonight and survey the right-of-way north of there.
Sergeant Hagen. There's a draw on the far side of the Fredonia Valley. What's it like?
I don't know, sir.
There's nothing but loose sand up there, Colonel. Not enough cover to hide a snake. Couldn't get a wagon through there if you tried. Now, if I was to do it...
I was speaking to the sergeant, Corporal.
Yes, sir.
You'd better approach it from the front.
Company, Colonel.
Hey, homie. We have come to talk.
Tell the men to stand easy, Sergeant. I don't want any incidents.
Yes, sir.
Eddie. I'm always happy to speak with Brave Dog, Chief of the Crow Nation.
I will speak plainly. You take your blue soldiers to the north.
To the settlement of Fredonia.
You were there. You saw the death of my son.
I saw it. I would have stopped it if I could have.
I believe you. You take your soldiers there for them to help fight the Crow people?
We have no fight with you.
Then I ask you, rest your horses here for a day. The grass is good here.
Hold on there. You trying to tell us to stay away from Fredonia?
The Crow do not tell the blue soldiers what to do. But the grass is high here. It is better that you stay. Tell me.
That Indian's gonna raise old Ned with Fredonia, unless he gets the man who killed his son. And that's for sure, Colonel.
But he doesn't want the army involved, or he wouldn't have come here.
Colonel, it appears to me that you haven't got any problem at all. I mean, this isn't your fight. Now, if you were to do as the chief suggests and stay here for a day, you wouldn't have no problem at all.
Sergeant Hagen.
Yes, sir.
Prepare the men. We'll make a forced march to the north. I intend to make camp on the border of Fredonia by dawn.
You're not going on.
You have a question, Sergeant?
No, sir. All right, men. Mount up. Rio, get that wagon out of here.
Boys, Jensen, get this wagon going.
Begging the Colonel's pardon, but you're getting yourself into the middle of a hornet's nest.
That's what we're here for. Now saddle up, Corporal.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Hick.
Sir.
Still have an hour before dawn. We bivouac here. Pick up the horses and have the men ready to move out on foot.
Yes, sir.
Colonel, the men are ready to move out.
Settlement's starting to wake up. We haven't much time. Corporal Bustard.
Yo!
I want you in on this.
Yes, sir.
The settlement is laid out roughly like this. Jackson's quarters, the granary, and the armory. The granary we can use for cover.
You mean you're going to attack Fredonia?
We're going to take Fredonia. A silent raid at daybreak. Sergeant Hagan, you take 4 men around the left flank and secure the armory. I'll take 4 men around the right and catch Jackson before he can organize resistance. There'll be no killing. That's an order.
You're not going to take that town without killing. I know those men better than you do. Begging the Colonel's pardon. I think we're asking for a heap of trouble.
You think we should call the whole thing off?
Yes, sir. That's my opinion. I don't like the position we're in. And for what? A carpet-bagging civilian who would be glad to see your hide nailed to the wall if he could muster it.
This isn't for Glixton. Not anymore.
Well, then who for?
There are 100 stubborn, bitter families in that settlement. Women, children, and men all awaiting a massacre. Now, I'd say that's worth the risk. Wouldn't you? Sergeant, get your men ready.
Yes, sir.
Colonel Custer, may I ask you what provisions you've made to protect me and my men?
Don't worry, Mr. Glixton. You won't be in any danger. You're staying here. After we've secured the town, I'll send a man back for you.
Sergeant Hagan, I saw Bustard heading for town and fast.
Can I see you alone, Colonel?
Speak up, Sergeant. We don't have any secrets from Mr. Glixton.
Yes, sir. Rio saw Bustard heading for Fredonia. And fast.
Now, don't you see what's happening, Colonel? Bustard's deserted. Jackson's going to be waiting for you. He'll cut you to pieces.
Sergeant, there'll be a slight alteration in plans. I'll take care of Jackson. You get the men into position. Take the armory, and every townsman you see, lock them up in the grain shed.
Yes, sir.
Remember, you wait here. Sergeant Hagan, good luck.
Good luck to you, sir. Keep low and not a sound. The men deployed throughout the town.
Very good, Hagan. Don't shoot, Colonel. It's me, Bustard.
Take your position. Where have you been, Bustard? You were under orders.
I'm sorry, Colonel. But I had to make sure we could do it. And it's a good thing I did, too. They're ready for a fight. They moved the women and the children into the root cellar. Jackson shifted the weapons into the grain shed and put men into the armory, just in case.
I almost had you posted as a deserter, Corporal.
Not me, Colonel. I know where I belong.
You help Hagen secure the town. I'll get Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Hold it. Whether you like it or not, Mr. Jackson, we're going to help you. Right now, my troopers are taking prisoner every man in Fredonia. And you're coming along with me to make sure they cooperate.
All right, Colonel.
All right. Outside.
Come on, move along. Get into the barn. Come on, move. Let's go.
Sergeant Hagen.
Yes, sir.
The women and children are to remain inside. Send a man back to pick up the wagon, Glixton and his men. Hurry.
Yes, sir. Colonel, the grain shed is secured. The prisoners and the weapons are in there.
Good. Break out the cannon, Corporal.
Do I load it with solid shot or explosive, sir?
You find some Pickens in the blacksmith shop. Wet it down and load a cannon with it.
Pickens, sir, but that won't stop anybody.
Brave Dog's warriors won't know that. I don't want to kill any more than I have to. Just in case things get rough, load them with solid shot.
Yes, sir. Rio!
Let me ask you something, Colonel. If we were Yankee carpetbaggers instead of Johnny Rebs, would you still do the same thing?
Exactly the same, Mr. Jackson.
It isn't over, Colonel, that I promise you.
The Crow let us live past this morning. We'll argue that point. Bustard. Place those cannon over there by that new building. Barricade them with anything you can find, on the double.
Yes, sir.
Colonel, don't you think those cannon be more effective out by the edge of town?
Cannon won't do us any good at all until they crow right down our throats. I want them aimed on the center of the street. Jackson, when they attack, I'm going to need all the firepower I can get. If you give me a word that your men won't cause us any trouble, I'll arm them.
Colonel, here they come.
Colonel, about those guns. You just made yourself a deal.
Fine. Open up. All right, you men. Mr. Jackson's given me his word you won't cause any trouble if we give you back your weapons.
Do you think I'll take orders from this blue belly?
Yes, you will, and that goes for all of us.
Sergeant Hagen.
Yes, sir.
Break out their weapons.
Yes, sir.
You're not gonna keep your word to that bluebilly.
I am. You follow orders and keep your mouth shut.
Lieutenant, the cabin primed and ready?
Primed and ready, sir.
Set the igniters and stand by. Jackson, place your men on both sides of the street. Draw their fire from here. Tell them not to shoot till they're sure of their targets.
All right, boys, take both sides of the street. Don't fire till you're sure you're target. Come on, let's roll. Come on to get on this other side over here.
Prepare for attack! They'll be back.
Custer. You tried, and I'll blow a hole in him.
Drop that rifle, Carhew. And that's an order.
No more orders. Not from a Yankee lover like you. This is between him and me. You may have the others buffaloed, but not me. You ground my boys into the dust, and you're gonna pay, Custer. Get down in the dirt. I want to see you crawl.
If I could bring one of those boys back from the dead, yours or mine, I'd crawl from here to Denver. But that war's over now. Put that rifle away.
I'm gonna shoot you, and I'm gonna watch you die. Slow.
Carhew, come back! Carhew, come back! I don't think they'll bother you anymore.
Carhew wasn't like that, Colonel. Not all the time. I just wanted you to know that. The war changed him.
Changed us all.
Tell me something, Colonel. You could have ridden off, and the Indians would have solved your problem for you. Why'd you stay?
Any citizen of the United States is entitled to protection. And you're a citizen of this country, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I guess we are.
Colonel Custer. Colonel Custer, I demand you inform these people that any act of aggression against the railroad will be severely punished.
I think you better let the matter rest, Mr. Glixton.
Now, look, Colonel, you're still assigned to me and my railroad survey crew. And I insist on full protection from these land grabbers.
There'll be no land grabbing around here. I intend to see that a deputy U.S. Marshal is assigned to Fredonia. Until such time that a city government can be formed to protect your rights and theirs.
U.S. Marshal? Now, look here, Colonel, there's
Looks like Mr. Glixton fell off his horse.
That's the way it looks to me, Colonel.
Mount up, Sergeant. Sergeant?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Move him out.
Forward! Hello!
I want that sign taken down and another one put up. Not Free State. Fredonia. Get some boys together and help that railroad crew get started. The sooner that railroad comes through here, the sooner we're gonna grow.